truth!
Hey everybody, you're watching the MLK Day episode of CCS. My name's Cody, and you're watching that Christian news show thing that I do. And because it is Martin Luther King Day, I figured we'd talk about Martin Luther King Jr. And if you don't know who he is, then I'm really worried about you. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Baptist minister, and he was black. And for all you younger people, there was a time that wasn't okay. As many of you may know, in the 70s was a very racist time, and Martin Luther King Jr. was a peaceful protester. And he made this amazing speech called I Have a Dream. And this speech has impacted our world as we know it. I don't even think at that time that he would have ever imagined that we'd have a black president. You guys could be like, Obama was not a black president, but he's a colored president. So that is huge compared to what life used to be like. And a lot of people say that it's all because of Martin Luther King Jr. Obviously, there were other things at that time. There's a lot of protesting. But he was definitely a major role in it, and he was a really big influence on the world as we see today. I mean, just making it way better than what it was. And my favorite quote from him, which I think is second to that I Have a Dream speech, is, God must have a sense of humor. Why else would he have made politicians? From there we go on to a news story that's a little more updated. There was a cruise shipwreck in Porto Santo Stefano, Italy. The ship had 1,500 cabins, and there's a lot of people missing right now. I've counted 7 or 8 people that from these different news stories who have died. The number obviously keeps growing as I keep finding more out about this information. I'm going to leave a link in the description of one of the earlier stories. But if you go to CNN.com, you can find all the information on this. It's a really scary thought. I've always wanted to go on a cruise ship, and now it's kind of scary. They said it grounded, meaning that it hit like rocks to the ground at the bottom of the ship. And obviously what happens is the ship sinks. According to the captain, he insists that the rocks that he hit were not on the map. And the Coast Guard is saying, no, it was definitely on the map. It's right there. So everything's just kind of a mass chaos right now. There's a lot of people injured, so just prayers out to the families, prayers out to the people who are injured, just everything like that, and hope that everything's okay. Pray that everything just gets figured out. And before I start telling you all about cruise ships and how much I love them and how much I fear them now, we'll move on to our next story. And political correctness type stuff is in the news again. Hondo, Texas is putting up their God's Country signs again. And people have been wondering for quite a while, are you guys going to put these signs up or are you just going to leave them down? The reason they were down in the first place in 2009 was for construction work. But they're coming back up and people are saying that, you know, they really don't care in that town, which is really cool. Because what the signs say is, this is God's country, please don't drive through it like hell. And they're supposed to be just kind of humorous. They're like, welcome to Hondo, Texas. And they're kind of cool in that way. So they're not like deliberately Christian stuff, but some atheists might get mad at it. And I'm really curious as to whether or not it will get taken down because of activists and things like that, or if people just don't care. Which would be really awesome if people just stopped caring. But it is being put up by the city, which is government, so it's kind of questionable whether or not, you know, this is going to be church and state type stuff. And our final story, Mark Driscoll is in the news today. If you guys don't know who Mark Driscoll is, he's just pastor at Mars Hill Church. Not the Mars Hill Church that had to do with Rob Bell, which I didn't know until like last week. It was like, oh, this must be the new pastor. So Rob Bell's doing his thing. And then I found out that no, they're nothing alike in any way. They're actually really opposite of each other. I like Mark Driscoll. I like a lot of things that he's said. I think he's really insightful in that way. He really takes the Bible in his sermons and says, this is what this is about. His message is really great and really clean, really easy to understand for me. But I've heard a lot of other people say that they don't like him because he's too radical and too honest. But to me, I think that's why people don't like him, is just because he's really outspoken and says what he thinks. Some Christians are like, no, you can't say words. One of his sermons is on pornography, and he uses pornography, obviously, in that sermon a lot, that word. And people are freaking out because he was using bad words. And most of his audience is college students, so it makes sense that he would talk about things like that. And I think people that dig deep in the real world, just some people don't like that because they want to have this shrouded image of what the world is, and then they live in their own little Christian bubbles. I sound really mean right now. No offense to people that are like that, it's just how some people are. Kind of bugs me, but I'm sure I bug a lot of people, so it's okay. But he is in the news today because he had an interview, and in that interview to Christian Magazine, he told them that he thinks Britons are cowards. He says there's a crisis in Britain, that it's not a Christian nation, and he says the reason is there's not enough young Christian, well-known pastors. And he just uses the example of, hey, how many Christian pastors can you name that are from Great Britain? In all honesty, I don't know the ministry in Great Britain, and I think even though he might know that there's a crisis in Britain, and I don't know if there is or not, he probably shouldn't say that they're cowards, because I really doubt that he knows the exact reason of why there is a crisis there. And that's the question for you guys today, is 1, do you think that Great Britain's in a crisis at all? And 2, do you think it's because they don't have enough young pastors in Britain to be spreading the word? If any of you guys are from Britain and you're watching this, please answer this for me, because I really want to know your guys' input the most. Because you guys would know way better than us Americans, or just making bold statements that we don't really have the authority to be giving. Anyways, I'm always interested in see what you guys say, so please leave your comments with an answer in the comment section below, and I will maybe give you guys a $10 gift card to C28.com if I get 5 or more subscribers to answer the question of the day, because then I'll pick one of those random people and give them a $10 gift card to c28.com. Also, before I get into the verse of the day, I wanted to thank all the people that are commenting. There's like 3 of you that are commenting every single video, and I just wanted to say, you know, I don't comment you guys back and tell you that I appreciate it, but I really, really do. And the verse of the day is Proverbs 10:18, and whoever conceals his hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. And that's all the news that I found interesting today. So in closing, haters keep hating, Christians keep praying, and to everybody like and subscribe. I will see you later, and God bless.